Okay, so here we are. My name is Ana Maria Visser, and I am a psyche facilitator. I started a series of interviews with people from all over the world who want to share their stories. And today I have with me, how do you pronounce your name?
Anne Marie.
Anne Marie. Anne Marie.
Anne Marie too. Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell us about yourself, where you're from?
Okay, sure. So I'm from Australia originally. I've spent most of my adult life living in Europe in various places. At the moment, I'm living in sunny Dublin, which is not so sunny, but I am married to an Irish guy and we have 3 lovely children. So we live here. I work as a psyche facilitator. I have a number of other things going on as well, but I think the majority of my work for the last 5 or 6 years has been around subconscious belief change and stress balancing and just helping people to overcome things that they've got going on in their life. I love psyche. Absolutely love it.
What do you like about psyche?
It's the ability to unlock potential. That's in a nutshell. Once you unlock potential, you can see past what we think is reality is just perception. And that is where the power lies, that you realize that what's going on between your 2 ears is not being done to you. It's not limiting you. And it's just the ability, it's the power, it's the beautiful freedom that, subconscious belief change affords you. There isn't one day that goes by where I don't use psyche for myself, for my family, and just the incredible change you see in people, like in the amazing things you see. There's just so much potential and it's beautiful. I love it.
How did you find out about psyche, or how did psyche find you?
I was living in Sydney and it was kind of, I have to say that I was probably been looking for something for a very long time. I went on a journey of, I became ill, and a couple of my children were ill, and I couldn't get what I needed from conventional medicine and anything. I couldn't find anything. I did go on a kind of, the journey is never a straight line. It's always a curve up and down. I went to a naturopath and started on a journey with food, became a health coach, an integrative health coach. So the 3 pillars: mindset, food and exercise. And I was looking for something. I was a traditional Thai massage therapist. I did Reiki. So there was all these elements of things like ancestral wisdom that were coming at me. And I had quite extreme food allergies. And I remember having a conversation with someone. We had been at a conference about food and alternative ways of eating. And he wasn't doing psyche, but he was doing something similar. And I remember we were sitting at a table in a restaurant and he said to me, "Your food allergies are a belief." And of course, anybody who is literally thrown in the deep end there, I got quite kind of, it was almost that kind of, what the heck do you mean? I'm not doing this to myself. And it was quite confronting to me, but it was almost like you opened the door a little bit and it just kind of sat there for a while. I was quite frustrated with what he'd said, and he did the muscle testing on me, and indeed I had an affirmative response. My allergies were a belief, and I really struggled with that, but it kind of just sat on the back burner for a couple of months. I was very into integrative nutrition, like micronutrients, all that sort of stuff. And I happened to be at a gut health seminar and I went into a call out room, just a cool off room, and I saw a gentleman who actually ended up being my PsychK facilitator in the beginning do a presentation. And I wasn't completely attached to what was going on. I just went in because it looked interesting, and I sat down, and in literally a 5-minute presentation, I watched him do a demonstration that completely transformed a woman from coming up onto the stage, shaking, crying, really, her voice was so like a whisper, to within, he did a balance with her, and within 5 minutes, she was like a different person. And it was just transformational to me. And as it turned out, I have a colleague in Australia who I had gone to visit a couple of weeks later, and we were sitting having a cup of coffee, and I was talking about this presentation I had seen. She was speaking about Bruce Lipton, Biology of Belief, and we kind of all of a sudden realized that we were talking about the same thing. So even in that coffee, we literally looked up when this next PsychK workshop was in Sydney, because I was living in Sydney. She was in far north Queensland, and Australia is a very big place. We found out when the next workshop was and went, let's go. And we did a workshop in Sydney. And it was like I literally had stepped out from underneath an umbrella, and like the whole world opened up to me. It was the potential of kind of, wow, and it's the freedom. Like we literally, we every night after the workshop, we would go away, and we were literally going and just balancing and changing beliefs, and just the unbelievable potential. And 6 months later, we did the advanced workshop. And since then I've moved to Ireland about 3 years ago. Done all the workshops. We've in May, last May, not this, the one just gone, the one before, obviously we didn't do anything this year. I went to the Netherlands to do a workshop with Duccio. And it's just every single step you take on this journey, you level up in like 100 times. It's not, you don't go from basic to like the next step up as advanced. You're leveling up your subconscious and your experiences of life and potentiality. And it is literally, it's changed my life, and it's changed so many people's lives. I've never had anybody who comes to me and hasn't experienced some sort of profound kind of awakening. So yeah, it's life-changing. I love it. I'm so grateful to have found it.
Yeah. Have you done any leadership programs? Have you done any leadership programs in the past?
In the PsychK world, or in general?
No, in general, if you had ever done any leadership programs.
Yeah, I've gone through different experiences with leadership. I used to, in a prior life, I was managing an organization, so completely different to what I'm doing now. But yeah, so yeah.
So you know about the conscious work while you're in a leadership program, and now the subconscious work with PsychK, for example. What would you say is the difference between the two?
So conscious leadership is very of the moment. You're literally you're reacting, as opposed to, it is a reactive kind of world. Mm-hmm. Leadership through subconscious kind of belief change and moving in that direction, it's more you're coming from your core as opposed to your head. You're not, when you're in your conscious brain, you're not, you're reacting to everything that's happening around you. It's a very sensory kind of thing. Whereas leadership from the subconscious point of view is you are coming from your truth. You're speaking from your truth. There's a trust there. There is, you're not second guessing. It is that kind of thing where you let your conscious brain kind of run away with itself. It's all about, there's no truth there. Mm-hmm. It's not truth. Whereas, if you're led from the subconscious, you are speaking from a place that is solid, and of course the work has to be done on that kind of that field, but you're planted, you're supported, you're guided almost, and it leads to better choices, but also better connection. So yeah.
Yeah, I was asking because that's one thing that I've been asked, what is the difference between conscious work and subconscious work? And I recognize that I've tried other modalities as far as subconscious work,
Mm-hmm.
like hypnosis. I did ayahuasca. I don't know if you're
Mm-hmm.
familiar with it.
Yeah.
But conscious work makes you aware. You have the awareness or some sort of level of awareness. Same
Yeah.
thing with ayahuasca or same thing with hypnosis. But the beauty that I recognize with Psyche is that you can make a change instantly. So you have the awareness of a behavior. And this is
Yeah.
what has helped me a lot. I have the awareness that I am bossy, for example.
Yeah.
So what do I want instead? Okay, so the replacing the negative behavior or the behavior that I don't like, because I don't like being bossy.
Yeah.
I don't like it when it's done, to me. Somebody comes and gives me orders. So
Yeah.
not being bossy anymore, what do I want instead? So being able to transform that behavior and notice that now I am completely behaving different. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, that is just like without thinking, without
Yeah.
having to put my mind to it.
Yeah.
So,
And it's that kind of it's the hurdles. The hurdles seem to disappear without even thinking about it. It's the stress that's attached. I do a lot of well, obviously we do the subconscious belief, but I'm really I come from a place of I'm very passionate about stress balancing. It would be some of the work that I do most, because a part of my illness was actually I was displaying symptoms, physical symptoms of undiagnosed stress. So if you had asked me, my conscious world, was I stressed? I would say, no, I'm not really that stressed, but I wasn't recognizing the stress. My body was shutting down because of the stress. So I see a lot of people, it is that kind of, it's even what I don't like about things. It's removing that stress from that thing, so it doesn't bother me anymore. Mm-hmm. People walk around, get up every morning, they dislike their lives, they think that this is the human condition. I'm getting up, I'm unhappy, I go to a job where I'm unhappy, I earn money, I come home, I'm unsatisfied with my kids, I sit in traffic, I hate the traffic. Everything is just miserable. And it never ceases to amaze me. And I was on this train. I was on this little, I call it a little mouse kind of thing, where you're going around every day. You grow up, you become an adult, you hate your job, you hate your life, you die. I know that's a simplified version, but it really is. And that's what it is, the human condition. People believe that this is supposed to be, you get to a certain age, you're supposed to go to the doctor, you're supposed to get pills. And everything stresses them out. I mean, I've done a lot of stress balancing. I mean, traffic was stressing me out. I've done a lot of balancing for ease and flow and simplicity. Because really that's all you can want in your life, just life to flow. No hurdles, no challenges. And things that stress people out, colors can stress you out, traffic lights, people. But it's also the power of recognizing how much we interact with other people's energies. And that's the potentiality of it. Is this my stress, or is this stress that I'm actually accepting from somebody else? It's the moving of hurdles. It's the ability to be happy and free, and just we're not meant to be here to be miserable and not love life. Life is, what an incredible gift. I mean, how many people would, if you asked the normal person in the street, do you feel grateful for your life? I remember in the beginning, while I was doing the integrative nutrition and the health coaching, I used to give workshops to people, and part of it would be gratitude and the mindset element. And, you'd be like, what are you grateful for? Sit down and write 5 things that you're grateful for. and the amount of people who can't actually think about what they're grateful for. And, you know, you get to that point where you go, fake it until you make it. But actually, you don't have to, because Psych-K, it is the instantaneous. Like I have a great deal of respect for hypnosis and all the different modalities, but it is that kind of, you know, you must keep reinforcing it. You must keep going. Psych-K is literally instantaneous. It is that I actually did some balancing while I was here, like before I started. And you have such like the potential to change hundreds of beliefs like that. And they're changed. They're changed. We don't say in Psych-K that it's forever, because obviously no one knows forever, but it's lasting. And, you know, I've changed beliefs. My first workshop with Psych-K, I think, was 2013. Could have been 2014. I changed beliefs at that original workshop that I still hold. And it's like building up, you change certain beliefs and then you look at the potentiality and go, well, this is what I want to be different. And like you said earlier, what do I need to change? How can I change that? And it is as simple as, you know, I walk along the street, muscle testing, balancing. And it's such a powerful, beautiful experience that, you know, you can change these things in your life, but the ability to, okay, you've changed these, how can I build on that? How can I continue? I do work with some Psych-K facilitators who did the workshops, put their book on the shelf and haven't looked at it since. And I say to them, this is a magical, you know, it's a magical thing, but you have to still do the work. You have to put the work in. The potential is there, and it's right at your fingertips. Once you've done a workshop, you know, it's there for you. Just take the opportunity to just grasp it with both hands, because life can be so amazing. I mean, I cannot tell you the difference between my life, you know, 10 years ago and my life now. You know, I couldn't get up and speak in front of people. I couldn't. I would never have dreamt of being on a video and talking to people. It is that kind of. It's life changing in so many ways. You know, you can take out allergies. You can take away phobias. I worked with someone. Well, it was about a year and a half ago. She couldn't drive. She literally got in the car and would freak out. She didn't get on planes anywhere that was claustrophobic. She had panic attacks, but she was more terrified of having a panic attack than actually having a panic attack. The experiences of the panic attacks that she'd had in the past was so ingrained in her. She couldn't drive to work. She needed to have someone drive her anywhere she needed to go. And I said, look, just come and have a session. It's, you know, just what have you got to lose? Because this is a prison for you. And she only came for one session. She came on a Saturday morning, and the next day she sent me a text message. And she said, well, guess where I am? And I'm like, well, okay, where are you? She said, I'm driving around the ring road of Dublin. And I'm like, whoa. And a couple of months later, she was on a plane. She went on her first holiday. And I had people contact me who know both of us. And they said, you know, that is incredible. She would never have got on a plane. She's free. And that was from one session. We just removed the stress, and it was so powerful. And you have those experiences every single day. People are hurting. People are in pain. People are unsure and scared at the moment. And, you know, you take the stress away, and it's just becoming whole brain. You're just, you know, allowing your left side of your brain, your right side of your brain to talk to each other. And it's the power that is attached to that. And it's so beautiful to see the changes that you've got in people. It's just incredible.
Yeah. I had the same thing. The condition about speaking in public was like dying. It was terrifying. I was so anxious, and I would shake. And after one session, I felt like so different. I also experienced PTSD. I had a traumatic experience. I almost died, and I had PTSD, and I was having panic attacks. And my one session just took it away, and that's what made me interested because I said I've had this condition for, it was like what, 4 years, I think.
Yeah.
And depression since I was little, it went away. It disappeared. It was just like instant. There's things, for example, that I recognize. My son, my oldest one, suffered from depression as well. And and I believe that I've worked with different people, and we seek for happiness. You know, that's what we all seek. We seek to have happiness, but we believe that when we get, you know, my son, for example, he was like, well, I have to have good grades, so I have to go to a good college, then I have a good job, and then I can have money, and then I'll be happy.
Yeah.
I said, that might take you 10 years, if not more, but that doesn't guarantee that you're going to be happy, because if we look outside in the world, there's millionaires, and they don't seem very happy. Not seem happy at all.
Yeah.
So I said, what if you could be happy right now? Just feel it. So we did a process, removing the condition, you know, because whether you have money or not, how you feel, that's what makes a difference. If you're happy, and we did, and he went to his dad's. You know, I'm divorced. He went to his dad's, and the next time I saw him, he was so happy, and he goes, "I feel so happy." Like, there you go. Like, you can be happy, feel happy, and not have to wait, because we have the belief that we have to struggle and go through all the hurdles, instead of having it right now. Feel the happiness, be in peace, you know, with uncertainty. You know, when this whole thing started with the quarantines and all that, how do I want to feel? I want to feel calm. I experience peace and calmness with uncertainty. I'm so chill and relaxed. And my family, my mom, you know, I noticed, and my mom was like, how could you remain so happy? It's like, it helps. It always works.
It's life-changing, and it is that human condition. We are expecting happiness at the next hurdle, or the next thing. We're always striving, and it is that. It's simple as, I'm happy today. No matter what happens in the world, I'm happy. And it is, you know, the conscious brain sometimes gets involved, and, you know, you get hit by what's going on in the world, and you just go, okay, what do I want now? What do I want to be different? And once you've decided, you take it. And like my child, he's been doing some exams at the moment. And, you know, he wasn't sure what he wanted to do for work. He wasn't sure what he wanted to do for uni. And I said, if you can honestly wake up every morning and love what you do and appreciate the beauty that's around you, you win. That's a win. If we can just, we've told from a very early age that we need to work hard to be happy. We need to, you know, have money to be happy. And it's an illusion. The power is, I'm happy now. It doesn't matter what's going on around me. I'm joyful, I'm free, I'm peaceful, and I recognize with gratitude the beauty of every single moment. I mean, it sounds a bit silly. I'm from Australia, so obviously sun is a big part of my life. Ireland is not very sunny. It's rains a lot. It's very grey. And when I first moved here a couple of years ago, I actually was struggling because I'd come from sunny Sydney, where if it rains, it gets a bit crazy. But I came here and I was really struggling. I did a balance that I see sun every day. Since then, because it is that kind of, you're not looking for it. So every day since then, actually, I have seen sun. I have seen, even if there's a little blue sky, I know there's a sun up there. And it's so powerful. It just changes everything. It's instantaneous. It's easy. It's so easy. People, like, you know, I work with children as well, and I have them come in here, and you know, some of them will go, but is that it? And I'm like, yeah, being happy, making changes is not hard. It's as simple as this. And the ones sit there and they go, you know, I was expecting something to be quite challenging. And actually I have adults saying that as well. You go, no, it doesn't have to be hard.
Yeah.
You see changes straight away, and it is as simple as this. Yeah.
Yeah, because I believe that we also have the perception that everything takes time. You know, if we don't take time to heal or time to change,
Yeah.
time, why can't we just take advantage of the time and do it quick right now?
Yeah.
You were.
And it must be difficult. It must be difficult. It's like, it's
not. And if we don't take time and if we don't suffer and struggle and fight for things, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. You know, just it's not gonna work out. We can do. I believe with Psyche, we can do our life however we want.
Exactly.
Draw it. My website has a canvas. What if your life was an empty canvas? Draw it however you want. Just put whatever colors, put whatever conditions, situations. If you want to feel free, so I'm free. If you want to be, I don't know, whatever. I come from Lima. I'm from Lima, Peru, originally. And Lima is always gray. You know, there's you can't see the blue sky from Lima, from where I'm from. But if you go outside of Lima, a little bit north, yes, it's sunny. And my whole life, like I said, I was depressed. I didn't know. And so my thing was like, Lima makes me gloomy. That was my perception of Lima. Makes me gloomy. Nothing makes me gloomy because I am the gloomy one. So I was gloomy my whole life. And I moved to Florida where I live now, looking for the sun. And it's funny because when I was little, I used to be a sleepwalker. And if I fell asleep and the house was in complete darkness, I will turn on a light or I will walk to wherever it was that there was light. I always look for the light, like a moth. And so I had a couple of experiences where I walked through the light. And I was, at one time my dad had a guest. They were in the living room and the only place where there was light was where he was. And I stood there staring at the light and I was asleep. He had to walk me back to my room, you know, turn on the light and I was there. But so I came to Florida looking for light, the brightness. And I went back to Lima a couple of years ago. And my experience was that every time I went to Lima, I wanted to go back home here after the third or fourth day because I was already gloomy. Lima was making me gloomy. Well, today I realized that I was the gloomy because I was in Lima after I did the workshop last year. And I was there for 10, 15 days and I was fine. And while I was there, I told my mom, wow, I'm not sad. I don't want to go home. I'm enjoying my time in Lima. I could stay here longer. And now I know that I'm not gloomy. I mean, Lima's not gloomy. I was gloomy. Now I'm gloomy.
It is that you look for external kind of reasons and then you actually realize that all you needed to do was change you. And it's the power.
We're running from ourselves. So people go to live on an island, people go on the mountains. I came here looking for light, but the mind is what's controlling my feelings, how I behave and interact. And now I'm happy no matter where I'm at. I feel like peace. So.
Well, it's just the power of kind of, you know, it's recognizing your subconscious programming, you know, and it is that kind of, it's so incredible that, you know, between, you know, 0 and 7, that's when you're actually downloading all the programs for your life. And with the light thing, I am, so I was a premature baby. So way back in the 70s, and I was put in
incubator?
Like a light incubator, but they had lights. So I was jaundiced. And it was very powerful for me to recognize that I moved back to Australia in 2009 from the Netherlands. And I went back and I recognized as soon as I got there, I just needed sun. And it sounded so weird to me at the time to say, like, I literally need sun. But on this journey, I recognized that my very first experience on this planet was literally sitting or lying under these bright, warm lights. The light you know, 24 hours a day for a couple of days. I literally had this light on me the whole time. And it was such, like, that was my programming. That was, I needed that to kind of like, sort of like open up and feel free and feel happy. That was like the very first moment of my life on this planet. And that ingrained kind of programming that I've taken my whole life.
Mhm.
The power of recognizing that and being able to go, I can be in the light wherever I am. Because I did have that seasonal disaffective disorder. As it gets dark, autumn coming along, you know, lose the leaves on the trees. And it really affected me until I realized that it didn't have to affect me anymore. And I changed my programming. And that is the power. What you don't want, what do you want that's not what you want, what's positive, and go for it and just take it with both hands. And it's so easy to change. Just remove the stress, change the beliefs. It changes your life beyond words, and the potentiality of it. It just opens up so many. I mean, I'm learning the whole time. I'm, you know, it's like the door has been opened. You step through the door, and there is so much healing and beauty and wisdom available to everybody. And oh, I just can't recommend Psych-K enough. It's just, it's the key
Yes.
that unlocks everything.
Yeah.
And you know, and even the potential, like I talk to people, I work with people, and you know, it's that kind of, what little incident in your life that you can't even remember are you still working towards? It's that kind of, I describe life as, you know, you've got a book, it's a hardcover book, and it's a story of your life. Your subconscious remembers every single thing that's ever happened in your life. What we've done, and we don't consciously obviously recognize, are the bookmarks we've put in along the way, anything that causes us or has caused us some sort of stress. And you know, some things that happened when you were 1, 2, and you took meaning out of that, that you know, as an adult, you'd look at that and go, that is not the meaning that I would take as an adult. But as a child, or a very small child, you're actually taking these experiences and they are writing the rest of your life. You
Mhm.
are looking for whatever message you got from that experience, which possibly wasn't the right message to take. And you are, look, as a human being is never wrong. We are always right. So, or we're correct. We will always look for a reason to validate and justify our beliefs. We will, even if it's a negative belief, I'm still going to look for that in my life. And I describe it as, when I'm working with people, I've got these bookends. Now the bookend, obviously the book grows as you go, and there's so much stuff in there. It's like an encyclopedia of your life, but there's the littlest details. But something along the way, you've put a bookmark in there. The power of Psych-K is being able to recognize that bookmark, pull it out. The stress is gone. Because if I'm still living with a belief or a stress that I've had when I was 2, every single time I get into that, I will look for that belief. I will look for that thing to become true every single time I've got the potential to have it. But I'm actually still having the physical response. So if I had a flight or fight moment, my very first memory is my parents taking me to the beach in Australia. They put me in front of the water on the sand. I was terrified. I'm 2 years old. I can very clearly remember. I thought I was going to be swallowed up. I might have been younger than 2. I don't know. It was such a powerful, emotive emotion. I was still reacting to that response. Every time I thought about that response or that thing, I still had the physical stuff going on, the adrenaline, the cortisol, everything was happening, you know, as a fight or fight response. I thought I was going to die. Obviously I wasn't, but I was 1 or 2 or whatever it was. And it was just so powerful. Take the stress out of that, pull the bookmark out. And now it's just something that happened. It's just one of those things that happened in my life. And I don't have to go back to that.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how many I did go through a phase where I was clearing out stress upon stress, and I literally decided to write down all these stresses. I was actually sitting in a workshop, and I'd already done all the work, so I was letting all these people talk around me, and I just thought, I'm going to clear out this stress, because I had been thinking after the very first workshop, my friend and I had gone to a cafe and sat down and wrote all the stresses that we could possibly think of. 3 years later, that was still there. Like, I could still recall all of those stresses and more. And I literally sat down on a hotel notepad and wrote down all the stresses. I balanced those stresses. I removed those stresses. And what I experienced was, and I can't even remember half the things I wrote down now, but within that 3 years, the stresses remained the same. They were still there, deeply ingrained. It was like peeling an onion. I peeled off that layer, and then I recognized the next day, and I wrote down a whole heap of more stresses. And there was some really kind of unusual and weird things that I hadn't thought of for, 10, 20, however many years came up. And I went, I set the intention that I was going to clear out as much stress as I could. Wrote down all these other stresses. I balanced those and removed them I removed them from my subconscious, and or I balanced them. And then more came up, and that's how I describe Psyche. It's actually, you're peeling an onion. You're discovering what the beautiful layers underneath that old crusty layer of an onion, and just the ability to just change and simply change is just, it's so beautiful and so powerful. So yeah, I think everybody should do Psyche.
When I went to the basic, and I came home and I recorded a video, and the first thing I said about the process, when I describe it to people in my family, it's a magical process. It's a magical process. It just happens like magic, like the best magic trick.
Yeah.
But I work with different people, and some people will go for 1, 2, maybe 3 sessions, but then that's it. There's the others that want to continue.
Yeah.
But then I asked, why knowing that you have the power of holding your wand, would you let somebody else hold it for you? What's holding you from grabbing your own wand and using the processes every day?
Exactly.
It's creating your magic, moving your wand, because you're going to have the best magic trick with a wand, whatever, but it's not good if you don't move it. It's not good if you don't do something with it. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Meeting you and hearing about your story, and it's just amazing how Psyche is everywhere and it's so accessible. But thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Do you have any contact information that you would like to share? I don't know if you have an email or website, or somehow people can.
Yeah, I do. So my company, my business name is My Innate Vitality. You can find me on pretty much every social platform, Facebook, Google, what else? Instagram, YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. There aren't that many videos on YouTube channel yet, but we will expand on that. I have an email address. It's AnnMarie, so ANN-MARIE at myinnatevitality.ie. And I have a website that's in progress, www.myinnatevitality.ie. So yeah, but if you look up My Innate Vitality in Dublin, you'll find me. So I'm more vocal on Facebook and Instagram. So, and that's where I do most of my work, actually. So yeah.
All right. Well,
thank you so much for having me. It's been brilliant.
If you are watching this video and you're interested in learning about the process, there are workshops happening all over the world. You can look them up on the website, psyche.com, which is www.psych-k.com. My contact information, my email, it's info@annamariavisser.com, and my website is annamariavisser.com. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.